This is the Freeride World Tour.
What is going on up there? No! So sick!
The pinnacle of competitive freeriding.
Yeah, boys!
Elite skiers and snowboarders in both the women's and men's categories will attempt to conquer the most challenging big mountain faces in Europe.
Victor going for the channel gap!
2021 was a special season, and as usual, there was no shortage of drama.
This is mental.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Welcome to Switzerland. Welcome to Verbier, the mecca of freeriding. This is where it all started in 1996, and this year it celebrates the 25th edition of the Extreme Verbier, which takes place on the legendary Bec des Roses.
The Bec des Roses is very special because it is the pinnacle of big mountain competition. The venue doesn't get bigger than that, it doesn't get scarier, and very few people get to ride it every year. It's our Hahnenkamm. It's the big one.
Knowing just how it was the birthplace of really these freeriding events and what we're all here and what we're all passionate about, it's just a really unique and special experience to be here.
The fact that it's the 25th edition is, it's quite a statement for the sport, because freeriding has often been considered as a young, crazy punk sport in a way, and the fact that there's been already 25 editions of this kind of event shows that it's not just a few loose cannons that are being crazy on the mountain. It shows that it's something that has a legacy now and that is really established.
Like, I've grown up watching this since ages away, and just watching it going down. I always thought it was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, and now we're gonna do it.
This mountain, this is the boss.
Especially here in Verbier, the competition is not within the category, it's more a competition against yourself and against the Bec des Roses.
I want to meet the guy who decided, hey, look, that's the gnarliest face in the whole mountain of gnarly faces. Let's have a contest here. Who thought that was a good idea?
All right, we got a happy lady crew here. Happy
The snowboard women are the first to get hellied up to the start, so let's go back and see how the season started. The season started in the microstate of Andorra in the middle of the Pyrenees. Due to the difficulties associated with travel this year, the decision was made to stay at the same location for the first two events in Ordino, Arcalís. In the snowboard women's category, all eyes were on Marion Haerty. The Frenchwoman has dominated the tour for the last 3 years and has 3 world titles to prove it.
On fire!
No one has ever won the title 4 times. Could she be the first?
I don't know, it was not about to reach a goal, it was just to have fun, especially with this weird period, I was like, okay, I will try my best. I want to push my level further.
Fresh from her second place at natural selection in Jackson Hole, came back and got her big mountain game face on. She barreled it into the face with the kind of confidence that only 3 world titles can bring you. She made her way down to the rider's left on this very technical section.
I was like, okay. The snow is sketchy, it's a spring session, but in the end I was happy to ride. I think the secret is also to be positive all the time, So I was like, okay, don't complain. It's really cool to be there with all your friends, it's sunny, so go for it, go straight and let's see.
She kept her line direct and smooth through the mid-section of the face, and the judges loved seeing full line riding. So Marion rewarded with a score of 84, yet another first place for the all-dominant French woman.
Andorra was the only stop Marion didn't win last season. But while she was celebrating, the others were clearly struggling.
My trip to Andorra was rough. It took me like 4 days to get out of the United States because I couldn't get my PCR COVID test back in time for me to land in Spain. So I showed up the night before the contest, not in the most proper shape to be ready to compete the next day.
Erica still managed to finish second, ahead of a new face on the tour, Canada's Katie Anderson.
She's amazing. It's so cool to have another North American out here ripping. It's been like kind of the European show for quite a few years, so I'm stoked to have another North American that's like really solid snowboarder. She's got incredible board control and like a really solid person too.
Solid run, dude. That's awesome.
I got so lost.
That's right. That's a great tour.
Just a week later, and they went again, and the Marion Haerty show continued.
I was almost keen to make another run, but in the end, I was really keen also to make the same run faster and stronger.
The three-time world champion appeared to be subscribing to the "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" strategy.
The score was not better compared to the last one, but yeah, I tried my best. That's the most important.
But only Marion herself could beat that score, and so she took her second win of the season. The rookie Katie Anderson went one better than her maiden result and took second ahead of Erica Vikander. The next stop was Fieberbrunn in Austria, and there was no sign of Marion slowing down. In the last 4 winters of competition on the Wildsee Loader face, she's come out on top every time.
Fieberbrunn is maybe one of my favorite stops because it's a mix of big mountain and backcountry, and I really like to express myself in this space.
A win here in Austria would make it a third in 3 events in 2021 and deliver Marion Haerty her 4th world title with an event to spare. Marion has proved time and again why she is untouchable in this category, and this line was yet another example of the riding skill that has made her so dominant.
It was fun again, even if the snow conditions were shitty. I really liked the couloir on the top and going fast, and yeah, it was fun.
It was a huge risk in some very, very dangerous snow, but Marion kept it redlined. It was clear that Marion had set a target that would be asking the rest of the field to step a long, long way out of their comfort zone if they hoped to better her.
It makes me really in stress because at the same time I really want to see all of my friends going down with a big run. And in the end I'm like, oh, I wish to win today. So it's a mix of emotions. It's really fun.
Michaela Davis-Meehan was the last to drop, the only rider who could stop Marion Haerty from taking the title. Luckily, Michaela didn't hurt herself, and Marion had done it. 3 events, 3 victories, and the overall title secured with 1 event to spare.
I mean, she's such an incredible athlete and such an amazing person. I only have good things to say. I mean, obviously we all want to win, but I'm happy when the best person wins of the day, and she was the best, and she beat us all fair and square. So, props to her because it's amazing what she did.
She had written a piece of Freeride World Tour history that day by becoming the first person to win the world title 4 times.
I'm really happy, it's crazy. I'm not the best person to be confident about myself, and to have another world title, it's just so nice, so good. Happy.
Now back to Verbier. There is just 1 run left for the women, but it is unquestionably the most challenging.
The Bec des Roses is the best stage of the World Tour. This is why this is the final also. It's this is the definition of freeriding. That's all.
With her 4th world title securely tucked into her belt, anyone would have forgiven Marion Haerty for taking her foot off the gas here in Verbier. But in search of a perfect 4 wins from 4, Marion came onto the Bec des Rosses fired up. That might have contributed to that uncharacteristic fall at the top of her run. But Marion, a true professional, bounced back, put that second drop in and started to settle down.
My run was not really good on the top. I'm a little bit tired in the end of the season. But I was really happy to manage the middle of my run. I tried to go fast and big, and the snow conditions are tricky.
There was a compulsory cliff exit which she stomped beautifully, and then 2 hands down on the carve on the apron. Her fall at the top of this run would be the single blemish on an otherwise perfect season. Would it put a dampener on the close of her 2021 season? The young gun Katie Anderson was next, and she wasn't in a position to threaten Marion's score. But she was locked in a battle with Erika Vikander for 2nd place overall.
I mean, we're good pals, so I was really stoked even just to get to ride with Erika. I've looked up to her for a long time, so yeah, I was really just stoked to be on the podium and seeing how she rides, and also looking up to Marion as well. And yeah, enjoying my time.
Erika Vikander was the last to drop, and the only one left between Haerty and a perfect season.
The top, I thought it was pretty nice. The snow was like decent up there, and I took a slightly different line than everybody else, so I'm pretty stoked on that. I got to a slightly more technical zone, if you will, and once you got kind of past that one choke, the snow is super hard, super wind affected, and it was, again, a pure survival mode run. I'm not super duper proud of snowboarding, but I stayed on my feet. Sometimes that's just the name of the game, and happy to finish the season with another podium.
61.67 confirms a perfect season for Marion Haerty. 4 wins from 4.
So good.
Oh, she's actually speechless.
Sorry.
Take it in, Marion. Marion, this is your moment to take it in. There are some cheers.
I'm sorry. I'm emotional today, that's it.
Katie Anderson, in her first season, managed to take 2nd in the overall, but it was clear that all of the riders need to step up their game if they want to halt the charge of Marion Haerty.
I think this is the best season ever for me. But you know what? I'm not proud of my runs. I want to push further my scores, and I want to push further myself.
In the first women's ski competition in Andorra, Norway's Hedvig Wessel came in with a clear goal of becoming this year's Tour champion. The defending champion from Andorra in 2020 was desperate to start the 2021 season with a win.
When I look at the face, I always try to find a cliff where I can do a flip. And I like it when it's a bit kicky, because that's what I'm used to from moguls, and having more of a jump kind of feeling. I'm not as good at flat takeoffs and doing flips.
Dodging rocks, she found her way to the top of one of the biggest cliffs in the venue.
Even though the landing and everything under it didn't look as good, that was not my focus. I was focused on the takeoff, and that's it.
Phenomenal control to get that speed checked, and then to continue the rest of the run. So much salt and pepper of rocks in the run out of that cliff. Direct, powerful skiing capped with that incredible backflip. Hedvig Wessel has made a serious statement of intent in the race for the 2021 Women's Freeride World Tour Championship. It went absolutely to plan for Wessel. She came, she skied, and she claimed victory.
For the second comp, I was a bit nervous, but I still had a really cool line planned, and I was super excited about it. But then when I dropped in, as soon as I did my first turn, my skis like bumped into each other, and I hit a rock, and then I it was just so hard for me to take down the speed.
Yeah, I'm okay.
It was sad not to be able to try that run. I was super excited about that. But that's what happens sometimes, and in tricky conditions it's hard, it's difficult.
It was quite the opposite story for Verbier local Elisabeth Gerritsen.
In Andorra, I was really excited about the face, had a good run in mind, and after my first drop, my ski just popped off for no reason, really. So that was a bit frustrating. But looking back now, I think this bad luck actually pushed me to do a 360 in the second competition.
Elisabeth Gerritsen, aka Gerritsenda, does not deal in half measures. A disappointing first event after she lost her ski on one of the biggest drops of the day. Ski women were the last category to drop, and Elisabeth took it steady through this section.
I did some thinking about probabilities that my ski would come off for no reason again, and I was like, that doesn't happen. I'm safe. I took a look at my bindings, set the din just a little bit higher, not much higher, and I just went for it.
A beautiful right side three, a tiny little back slap, but taking that kind of risk at the top of the face would be a huge boost with the judges. She'd been practicing 360s all week. She managed to nail that one.
I actually learned how to do 360s this year. Just looking back at the winning runs these past few years, I realized there was really something missing in my style. So I pushed myself in the beginning of the season. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do a 360 a day. Every time I go skiing, I'm gonna do one, even if it's shitty conditions. And I did that, and yeah, it really made me confident about it.
79.67 for Elisabeth Gerritsen, and you can see what it means to her.
Without having had that frustration, I don't think I would have amped myself up to do that 360. So everything happens for a reason, I guess.
Gerritsen took the win in the second competition, but due to both Gerritsen and Vessel's inconsistencies, the overall lead went to France's Juliette Wilman.
I chose a line where I started on the steep part, so it was a bit technical, and I mean it's fit well with my kind of riding when it's steep and technique. And then I went for a big cliff. Then it was super hard to manage the speed because the snow was super hard, so it was interesting. I was like, wow, I need to be strong on my legs. And then I ended up doing a double and then another hit, and I was really happy with because it went all super fluid and super smooth. So I was super stoked about that.
Another sick run today, really high level in the women's ski category. And coming out of France, it is Juliette Wilman.
It was my first podium on the tour, so it's been a long process for me to arrive here, but then I was really happy.
In the second competition, she went for a different line.
So I chose a line where I could go fast, so I tried to go as fast as I could and then still do some jumps and send it, and I landed, and I was super happy.
Different line, same result. With 2 second places, Juliette was wearing the golden leaders jersey going into Austria.
It was cool. I mean, I tried to not change my mind because I had the golden beam on my shoulder, but definitely it was something it wasn't my goal of the winter, and it kind of became my new goal to be first. So it was wow, it's kind of challenging. And then in Fieberbrunn it was hard for me to find a line. The snow was super challenging. Actually, I chose the bad line.
And that opened the door for the others to stake a claim on the leader's jersey.
I knew that Fieberbrunn was going to be a bit of a game changer in terms of the title or not. All the girls were pretty close.
There was also a new player joining the game. Last year's champion Arianna Tricomi of Italy missed the first 2 events in Andorra.
I got the chance to film some projects that I've been actually dreaming about for a longer time in my beautiful Dolomites, so my backyard. I decided to do that instead, but watching them come from the couch was definitely really hard.
The question was, would she be sharp and competition ready? The conditions were anything but perfect.
It was so hard conditions. The tracks that was on the hill, they froze. It was just so firm and hard. It was almost like hitting ice balls.
And when you see a 3-time world champion like Tricomi struggling, you know it's tricky out there.
I'm happy about my run. Unfortunately, I kind of crashed but recovered and skied on, but obviously that's just not the best point. The snow was very variable, quite hard to ski actually, and also after the tracks it was actually quite hard to stay on our feet. I'm happy about some cliffs that I hit. Yeah, part of the game to crash, and yeah, all good.
Elisabeth Gerritsen was the next victim of the conditions. All went well till her first big hit.
For us, there's a bit of a low visibility and very variable snow. And then I landed, I think, in like what we call a death cookie. And I kind of caught my ski and then I tumbled. Yeah.
So it was Hedvig's turn, and usually she goes for the all-or-nothing tactic. But this one, she approached like a future tour champion.
I chose a more strategic line. I went for a more safe line, and I did one good hit, and then I just took it slow, and I wanted to stay on my feet. That was super important for me.
Playing it safe did cost her the win, but it served the Norwegian well in the overall standings. The victory went to Poland, Zuzana Witek, not only stepping up to the podium for the first time, but going straight to the top spot.
It was so cool to see Susanna win. She had a good run and a lot of feature in her run. The feeling of your first win is so special, and I'm just so happy for her and happy that she managed to put it down and qualify for next year.
Hedvig's second place saw her stack enough points to reclaim the leader's jersey.
For the girls, it's super tight with the title, and now I got them back, which is super cool. Yeah, it's a high level in the girls this year, so it's gonna be tight. That's cool. It's cool that you need to fight.
So as the women made their way up to the start in Verbier, they all knew the fight was on.
I probably plan different lines, different variations. I know a line where I go super big or maybe smaller, or yeah, so I have some options depending on the snow and the quality. Also, I'm starting last of the girls, so I will know a little bit how it looks, and hopefully that will be an advantage.
Ariana Tricomi had the highest score so far and was looking comfortable in the hot seat. Next was one of the big title contenders, Juliette Willman.
Okay, I'm still like in the race to win this World Tour, but I'm not putting myself in a stress mode, so I just want to do like a good run, like a run where I have a lot of like pleasure and where I can ski fast and like show my skills, and then I will see the results.
Juliette was in full attack mode and her skiing was shouting loud and clear, "I want this." She lined up one of the biggest cliffs on the face and with no hesitation, sent it. She had come so far and pushed so hard, but her hopes for 2021 were gone. So now it was the turn of Verbier local and 2019 Extreme Verbier winner, Elisabeth Gerritsen.
I was quite unlucky in Fieberbrunn, bad snow, maybe bad line choice, I don't know. So now I'm out of contention for the title, but I'm actually quite happy not to have that pressure here on the back at home. I'm not skiing for a title, I'm just skiing for fun and skiing to show my friends and my family here what I can do on this face.
That was probably a good mindset to start with, but her calculations were wrong. She still had an admittedly slim but possible chance to take the title.
I'm not gonna lie, I had a bit of difficulties with the snow. It was very changing. It was not as smooth as my run in 2019, but I did a similar line and I stomped all my airs. So yeah, I'm happy. I did what I could with the conditions today.
The judges were less critical, and Elisabeth moved into first place, pushing Tricomi out of the hot seat.
yeah, when the score popped up, 88, I was like, that's a really high score, and I was really happy.
One woman was left up top. Hedvig Wessel didn't need to win. A second-place finish would secure her first World Tour title.
Snow was super tricky, and I just wanted to stand on my feet, so I decided not to jump the cliff when I just arrived to it. Looking back, that was, I guess, a bad decision because it wasn't enough for me to take the title without it.
I don't know anything about math.
It was not my day.
Whoa! Okay.
Yeah, it was a bit of a special moment because I didn't even know mathematically that it was still possible for me to take the title. So I didn't ride for that today. I didn't have that kind of pressure on my shoulder. So in that sense, maybe it was a bit of an unfair race with Hedvig because she knew that she had a thing to play today.
Okay, so Elizabeth just won the title with 20 points. That's like not... I don't know what to say.
Your Freeride World Tour champion, once again right here in Verbier, Elizabeth Garrison!
Now it's time for the men's competition, and the riders are checking their lines again. At the start of the week, conditions were perfect, but heavy wind over the weekend stripped all of the fresh snow from the face.
That does mean we are starting not from the top, we are starting from normally it's the women's start, so this time it's men's and women's from the lower start.
Most of the men had already chosen their lines. Now they needed to find an alternative, and quickly. Back in Andorra, the snowboard men's category started with a battle of the young guns.
I felt I came into this season much more well prepared and a bit more experienced, so that's why I guess it paid off in the beginning there, yeah.
Cody Bramwell took second at this event in 2020 in his debut event. Could he go one better this year? That was the question on everyone's lips. Bramwell definitely had ambitions. He made his way out onto the same cliff. We saw Hedvig Wessel backflip.
It's got this backflip up top, so I kind of did the hardest part already, which is like a bit of a risky, kind of heavy landing backy. And then, because the conditions were pretty hard pack, but then I've grown up doing that in Sweden, so it's kind of my kind of style of riding, so I felt pretty confident in it. And then I had this little early pop kind of gap at the end, which I was a bit worried about, but that worked out pretty nicely.
A very, very big run for the Brit. Back in the start gate was the younger brother of freeride skier Griffin Moller. Blake is the prodigal son of North American freeriding right now. He won 4 of the 5 four-star qualifying events that he entered in 2020. The big question is whether he can now replicate that dominance at the highest level.
Yeah, I honestly thought he was going to take me, so I was like, yeah, I was definitely a bit worried. But then we're good friends and we ride all the time together, and we pretty much scoped very similar line like that, so we knew if he landed it, we'd be very close to each other, and I just nudged him on that one. You always in hot seat, you're always nervous, yeah, for sure.
The score came in, and Moller took second.
So I was super happy with that. That's one of my main goals this season, getting a win. So super nice to get it straight out of the way.
A week later, and Blake Moller started first and was ready for redemption.
I switched it up a little bit from the first stop. I started up higher and I saw this
pocket little three I want to do real bad.
He found his way onto this rocky outcrop and managed to snipe a backside 360 into a very tight landing.
I went back to that same double and then hit the same air Cody hit first comp as well. But didn't really like change my line all that much. I knew like the first face check we had for the second comp, I was there for like 5 minutes because I already knew what I wanted to do. I didn't want to just overthink it at all, so that's kind of how I work too. Don't want to overthink things and just go and ride like I were to get dropped off somewhere, you know?
A great run, but would it be enough to score higher than Cody Bramwell this time? Or would the Brit make it 2 out of 2?
I came in, I wanted to go for it again and just like try to go for that top spot. I messed up. Like, that didn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't work out, I guess. But like, the thing was I crashed on the easiest part of my run. So I kind of lost focus in the middle. I landed my hardest part in the beginning. I messed up my second part and then, yeah. No. It happens sometimes. You just got to stay focused the entire time, I guess.
So the rookie Blake Moller took his first win at just the second time of asking.
I was just really hopeful, but it's pretty insane that it came to life, so I'm super excited.
The tour then moved on to Fieberbrunn, and Blake Moller was wearing the leader's jersey. It was Cody's turn to drop first.
Fieberbrunn was awesome. I was because I had my crash and my win, so in Fieberbrunn I was just really focused on just putting down like a solid run. I was kind of just playing a bit smart in Fieberbrunn.
With the crusty snow, Cody was in survival mode, but the tactic paid off, and he took the hot seat.
Just stay on your feet, just get down, that's it. And I managed to stay on my feet. It wasn't the cleanest, but I'm happy I just didn't tomahawk or anything.
Hey, guys, I'm gonna go.
Next up was Victor Delarue of France, who hadn't distinguished himself in Andorra.
I was feeling a bit stressed, and for some reason I really didn't ride that well, and I was not stoked on my runs. But then I went to Fieberbrunn and I was like, forget about the contest, just do a run that you would be stoked to do.
The 2019 world champion is one of those riders looking for a good result here. Going from start number 2, the opposite start to Niels Mendnik, he headed out to the right-hand side of the face. More shade over here, so a better snow quality but less accumulation. So lines are harder to come by and you've got to watch out for those sharks. Victor set off on this high line into this lip and sent a beautiful 360, way bigger than anything else we'd seen in the category up to this point. But he was far from done. He was heading straight for the canyon.
When I look at it, for me, I'm like, it doesn't go, it's not possible. So this is why I was pretty confused. I really looked from a bunch of different angles, drone angles, pictures from the side, the top. I was like, it doesn't go, but I don't care. The snow is bad. I just want to try, and in the worst case, I would hit the wall. It actually went super smooth, so I was really happy.
Delarue rediscovered the form that delivered him the world title in 2019, and a 90.67 is an immense score.
Blake Moller was next, and he knew he'd need something extraordinary to challenge Victor.
Fieberbrunn was good. I had nothing to lose going into it, so I figured I wanted to try something that was kind of out of the comfort zone a little bit. I like to think it's inside, but yeah, it didn't work out, but I was stoked to just try a trick off that hit. It was too perfect to not try a back stab, so I had to.
And so it was Victor Delarue who took the win.
I'm super damn stoked to take another victory here. I had it like 2 years ago, and this year I was really riding pretty bad, like the first 2 stops. And this one I was just like, okay, I'm not even sure if my line will work, but I just try, we'll see. And it worked out, and I got the win, and so it's really giving me a lot of energy for all the rest of the season.
In the overall, Blake Moller holds on to the top spot, with Delarue moving ahead of Bramwell into second. With 3 different winners from each event and no consistency beneath them, the men's snowboard category is still wide open.
You want window?
Okay, whatever, man.
Now it's time to return to the Beck, and the final descent would decide it all.
Which is, it's still like pretty mind-blowing, yeah, that we're going to be up on the Bec de Ross, and well, it's crazy, but I'm super excited, yeah.
Just look at the mountain, it's so special. And the Verbier Extreme, it's amazing because it started with snowboarders, so we're just kind of keeping the culture going, I think. And this face is just so impressive and so scary. It's the best. That's why we do it.
Sugar here. You still on here?
Yeah.
Go over, I'll see you later.
Dude, crush
See you
it,
down
bro.
there, you crash. Let's just have fun. See you at the bottom.
Cody Bramwell is in his second year on tour, but has really announced himself this winter with a change in his approach. He's been riding to win, and the maths for the Brit in Verbier were very simple. If he could win, then he wins the world title. So he had to ride to win. And that is exactly what he did. A couple of snappy turns and then a hard right into the closeout chute. He had an exposed drop at the top, and then he committed to the compulsory cliff exit. He managed to control the speed and shut it down, heading left above a serious cliff band.
It worked out. I kind of had to change my line because I didn't get speed to this one hit I wanted to do. But I had a plan B if it didn't work out. And I managed to stay on my feet till the end. So yeah, I'm pretty damn happy. And yeah, I couldn't ask for more. I'm actually baffled it worked this well.
The judges rewarded Cody with a huge 89.67.
Oh, what? That's a lit score. 89, bro. 89. What?
It would take something very special to best it. If Blake Moller was feeling any pressure dropping into the Bec de Ross for the first time and bidding to win the Freeride World Tour title, it didn't show. In fact, popping out of the gate, it looked like he couldn't wait to get stuck in. He headed straight to some of the steepest and most exposed terrain.
I kind of want to just point it through that back three double zone, and then I kind of just didn't. So, but other than that, it went pretty good, yeah. Maybe should have backied this wind lip down here, but we learned.
It would be a nervous wait, but 82 would see Blake slot into second.
Oh, you, baby.
And Cody Bramwell survive one serious challenge.
Freaking amazing season, though. Glad I came.
The second would come in the shape of this man, Victor Delarue. He's so solid and precise on a board, regardless of snow quality.
For this race, I'm going to try to take the same approach that I did in Fieberbrunn. Just not think too much about the contest, but just I have one run. I would be happy to ride. I don't know if it goes, but I just want to go and try. And if it goes, I think it should be good. So, and if it doesn't go, I would have tried at least, and I won't feel bad.
Victor let it run and found a new cross-court line and threw a high-speed three into the same exposed pocket as Blake, but rather than attempt to shut it down, Victor embraced the mayhem and sent the cliff.
All the features came out so quick. It was pretty steep with pretty compact snow, so it really came quick, but I pretty much stomped everything. Just on my 360 did a little slash after, kind of. But yeah, I rode fast, I did a nice three, so really happy about this.
Wizard-like board control and full commitment were rewarded with a 92.67. Victory for Victor Delarue on the Bec de Ross.
Yeah, when you see the score coming and you see 92, I think, and yeah, first place, and that means winning Verbier, which is insane, and winning the Freeride World Tour, so it's really, really awesome and insane, and I really didn't expect this to happen this year, especially after the really bad beginning of season I've done. To win in Verbier, like, it's really a big thing.
So Cody Bramwell in third, the rookie Blake Moller, a dream season to finish in second.
And locking up the title with a masterful performance on the Bec today, your Freeride World Champion, Victor Delarue!
The Frenchman, Victor Delarue, makes it 2 Freeride World Tour titles. He's catching up with his older brother, Xavier, slowly.
And it's so cool because he was never, within our family where we're all super competitors, he's never been one of those. And we always thought, is that really for him? And he's been really killing it and really showing some amazing, combination of skills. And he's been rocking basically.
Back to Andorra one last time for the ski men's category, and it was a rookie who took the tour by storm.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely nervous hiking up there, but once I got on top of it, I knew what I was doing, and I'm confident in those tricks. So once it came to game time, I was able to dial it in and get it done.
Next in was the 2017 Junior World Champion and winner of the FWQ in North America in 2020. Ross Tester at his first ever Freeride World Tour event, and he had his foot pinned to the floor from the very start. He made his way across to the left-hand side of that chute for a huge 360 and then made his way down into this technical section in the middle of the face. Aymar Navarro had come in here, snuck his way through, but at this point Ross Tester decides to turn left and in the process puts himself on a brand new drop. It was a flat landing, but his legs were up to the challenge. He then made his way down to the same drop that we'd seen Isaac Freeland take on. But Ross Tester wanted to add a little more flair. He went for the backflip into the guts of the chute and stomped it, popped out of the windlip, and it was a very, very impressive debut for the man from Squaw Valley. It meant the judges had no choice but to reward him with a 92.33. So a fairy tale win for the American in his first ever Freeride World Tour event.
I changed my game plan going into the second stop for sure. I wanted to take the same line, or similar line, I guess, and kind of change up the tricks and just kind of show more of what I've got, I guess. I think I was feeling maybe a little too confident, and it felt really nice in the air, and I came around and spotted, and the ground was just right there, and I was like, oh, I'm done.
Next up, Sweden's Christopher Turdell, who desperately needed a good result to make up for his poor finish at the first stop of the tour.
I didn't manage to go that far in my first comp run of the season. It took maybe only 10 or 15 seconds before my binding popped and it was game over. And that's the thing, you always know the margins are so small, so you try to put the bar as high as you can, and then you take it down just a notch to be on the safe side. But yeah, that comp didn't work out.
Desperate to make amends here, hasn't rediscovered the devastating form that won him the World Championship in 2018, but it feels like he might be getting close to his best again out of his skiing.
For the second comp, I was coming down into the finish area and felt such a relief because I knew I had a pretty good run. Then you never know how far it's going to go in the ranking and results, but ending up on the podium was such a relief and going into Fieberbrunn with at least one good result.
Next to drop was Andrew Pollard, aka A-Poll.
First stop was okay. Didn't really push it that hard. Been coming off a shoulder injury and would like to not dislocate it again, so kind of had to put one down, followed my good buddy Ross's track, and yeah, had a good run.
He was back and he meant business. A huge left three to open his account.
I'm always trying to look for something that's super fun and enjoyable to ski. Like, if it's not fun to ski, it's not fun to watch.
And then set himself up for this big finish. Oh! Landing heavy in a bomb hole, he was able to hold on. Yeah! And take it into the finish.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, I haven't won one of these comps ever before. I'm predominantly like a 5th to 3rd place skier, you know, and pride myself on that consistency. So it was fun to kind of turn the dial up a little bit and get that first place spot.
René Barcred rounded out the podium in third, but looking at the overall standings, it was another rookie on top. Maël Olivier was the most consistent in the field.
It was incredible. I have no expectation about this one. Just super excited to jump into the big league with all those legends. And it was like pure pleasure and adrenaline. So I'm stoked to have done this one and made a good run.
In his debut event, he ended up in second and backed it up with a fourth place at the second stop.
I knew I was, people was looking at me because I did put them on the first one, but didn't get too nervous. And I managed to land another very cool run. I had a very good feeling on this one. So both friends in Andorra were sick. I'm super stoked.
Hey, now I recognize you. Thank you. I hope so. A snowboarder made a lot of bomb holes in my landing, so we'll see.
In Fieberbrunn, it was René Barcred who kicked things off, and he got everyone hyped with his positive attitude.
It's funny that I think I had a positive approach there, which I did that day, but mine normally is I'm staying super negative to mess with the minds of the other competitor, and then I do my thing anyway. I had a good feeling, I just want to go for it, and started first, which I rarely do. I think it's my second time in my career I started first. I was like, okay, let's kick this off with a bang and try to motivate everyone this day.
He sent that huge cliff at Mach 10.
Got my line exactly the way I wanted it. Come down to the middle, snow got a little tricky, but better than expected actually. Woo! Oh, dangerous spot, guys! At the very end I had a medium-sized air into some snow that was extremely challenging, and it was just hold on for dear life and make it to the finish line. Overall, pretty fun.
Despite that final scare, he made it to the finish area with one of the most electrifying runs of 2021 under his belt. Next, it was the turn of Ross Testa, the man with the freestyle skills of an X Games contender and the edge control of an Alpine racer.
Fieberbrunn was super fun. Just like Andorra, I found a line that I was really confident in and knew I could have fun with. And I was looking at all the really gnarly freeridey lines that Rain skied. And I knew I could ski that, but I was a little bit worried, so I just took a little more chill, something I could do tricks on, and it went well.
A couple of very playful turns and jumps. And then he made his way down onto the exit cliff. Tao Kryback had a go at this one and failed. Could Ross Testa make it work? Yes, he could. A huge left side 360 into Tao Kryback's bomb hole. René and Ross had landed two very different runs, but how would they compare?
It was tough to wait for the result now, because now we got like the classical big mountain versus more freestyle. Ross is such an amazing skier. He put on a super solid run, and I always knew that's how you can beat the big mountain line. So, and he did. It was super close though.
Testa betters Barcred by just 1 point, and the mayor of Stomptown has to vacate the hot seat. Christopher Turdell was under pressure here to stick a run and get a solid position to ensure he would advance to Verbier. So the question was, would he throttle back and aim to guarantee a finish in the middle of the pack, or would he give it his all?
Coming from this little bit smaller phase due to a low snow year in Andorra, we ended up on the Fieberbrunn Wildsloader phase, which more of a big mountain style phase, especially in the upper part. So I wanted to ski a fast and fluid run, more big mountain style.
He jumped the same cliff as René, even a bit cleaner, and then went full throttle.
I just wanted to link my upper part with a new feature in the end, so I wanted to try the canyon gap. And on a feature like that, you definitely don't want to come in with too low speed. So I think I came in a little bit too fast, almost lost balance before the takeoff. Takeoff was more of a kick than I expected, so I got sent over the canyon, and I was actually happy to land on my feet after that one.
So an emphatic descent that was going for the win. Would the judges agree?
No, 87 points, enough for third, just behind Reina.
I'm happy to be down.
Yeah, it was really surprising, honestly. It was. I would have hated to be a judge. I was watching every guy. I was like, oh, he's gonna take it. He's gonna take it. But I didn't really know what my line looked like from a judge's perspective. So definitely props to all the riders. People ripped it up. So super fun to watch.
Next to challenge Testa's score was Carl Regner Eriksson, who also went for the big mountain line, but mixed it up at the end.
In Fieberbrunn, I got to mix technical skiing with my playful skiing, and it went really well. I grabbed a third place together with Christopher, which is super fun.
Pretty much guaranteed podium at this point, so stoked on that.
Despite wearing the golden bib, the French rookie Maël Olivier had said that he wasn't feeling the weight of expectation that comes with leading the Freeride World Tour rankings.
I tried to keep with my own style. It was I did in Fieberbrunn. I didn't want to hit like the main features. I tried to find a real nice transfer gap or things like that.
Coming on to one of the most exposed areas of the face, he looked for a double between these rocks. Unfortunately, he leant back. Ross Testa would be crowned winner of his second event in 2021.
Yeah, Ross!
Came out to have fun and worked out, I guess.
In the overall, former tour leader Maël Olivier drops down to fourth. Turdell jumps up to share the second spot with René Barcrid, and the rookie Ross Testa will ride in the golden bib in Verbier.
It's gonna be interesting. I don't like wearing the golden bib because I think it's bad luck. Yeah, I mean, I'm stoked to get on the Beck and go try that out. I've always wanted to ski it, try and put in some freestyle and good skiing. Yeah.
The rookie did it again, while the two third-place finishers had to find a way to share the podium.
Yeah, I sat on Christophe Turdell's shoulders. That was quite dangerous, actually, but Christophe was strong. So, yeah, it was fun.
Back in Verbier for the final, and it would come down to the wire.
The overall is gonna be exciting now. It's all gonna come down to the finals. Ross is in an extremely good position, going in with the lead, and I think he can stay there if he's first or second in this event.
If he stumbled, the two Swedes Barcrid and Turdell, as well as the rookie Maël Olivier, were hot on his heels. The Frenchman was the first to drop.
I tried to go big, and unfortunately I took too much speed, and I can't manage to take my next feature, and I crashed. But I'm still happy with me to have tried and not give up and not take a mellow line. I could have taken a mellow line and just to be sure to end it top 5, but competing it's like that, so I really wanted to go back on the podium. So I try, I crash. I will be back next year with better results.
The next to drop was Christopher Turdell. World champion in 2018. He's won at almost every stop on the tour at some stage in his career, except Verbier.
Yeah, I kind of scooped the line yesterday, and last night I looked at old pictures and kind of figured it out, but it included 2 really, really big drops, which made me not sleep very well.
Next final, Christopher Turdell, 3, 2, 1, dropping.
Christopher opened straight off the bat with a beautiful swooping drop where he changed edges in the air, and then he tucked underneath that cliff band and set his path down the fall line. Another drop. He started to flatter the snow conditions with some incredibly smooth skiing. Another drop, and then just as we were getting lulled into a false sense of security, he threw a left turn into a pocket of snow above a truly monstrous cliff.
I'm happy that I was able to include a little bit of technical small turns with big drop and a backflip on the end. So I'm happy to manage to land a line that included a little bit of everything. Oh, such a relief to be down here though.
A 90.67 put Turdell one step closer to that elusive Verbier victory.
Oh, good to be back.
Next up, was the most experienced competitor in the field, René Barcrid.
For me, going into an event like this, the ranking has never really mattered. I want to win on Extreme Verbier, so I would approach it exactly the same way as I do with any year. So my run was pretty scary, I have to admit. I had one thing planned, one guy was hitting it before me, and yeah, it went well for him, and I thought, okay, I'll just go for it. But I knew I needed to add something a little extra at the bottom, so I did a huge double on the top. It was way bigger than I thought, and super speed after, and I knew I had to end with a backflip, even if it's a small one. I blame the freestyle a little bit, but I like it and it's super fun to do. Of course, it's not fun to throw away a good run on a tiny little windlip backflip, but it's the small margins now when people ride really well that do it, and then you might have to add a trick for the hot seat.
Only one? Oh, it's Ross now. Whoa.
Only the tour leader was left to ski.
Enjoy the run. Thank you. Try my best.
Yeah, there's only Ross Tester left. He's got it in him. It's his to win and to lose, so.
It's been crazy. It's been a little bit overwhelming. Back home, it's super low key and we just shred with buddies, and now the whole world's eyes are on me, so I gotta hold it down.
Rookie Ross Tester had his dreams at his fingertips. He's leading the Freeride World Tour and was dropping into the Bec de Ros as the last rider of the day. Could he control the adrenaline and do the unthinkable? Win the Extreme Verbier and in the process take the world title. He started the line in exactly the same way as Turdell and then headed for the windlip, where undoubtedly he would put his freestyle repertoire to work.
My run was all right. It was nothing that I really planned to do. I looked at the face and saw all the features, and I watched all the riders go. And I ended up just skiing right past all my features, and I saw where Leo did a big backflip, so I said, maybe I'll just do that. That was pretty sick. Yeah, I ended up stomping it, so stoked on that.
That's not the line I meant to do. Backflip.
Oh my god.
Okay. The only thing I saw from his run was that huge backflip, so it could have gone anyway. I had no idea. It would be nice to hear what they're talking about to the judges then.
Yes, it would. They're talking about an 85.67, which would see the rookie finish just off the podium in fourth.
Fourth?
And confirm Christopher Turdell as the 2021 Freeride World Tour champion.
Unbelievable. To win here in Verbier, both the Extreme Verbier and the overall Freeride World Tour, it really can't get any better than that.
So in the overall, René Barcrid slips to fifth, while Carl Regner Eriksson moves up to third. Christopher Turdell makes it 2 world titles.
The man finally getting the monkey off his back. His first Extreme Verbier win. Give it up for Christopher Turdell!
Now it's time to say goodbye from the 25th anniversary of the Verbier Extreme. Despite all the factors against it in 2021, the Freeride World Tour has delivered yet another year of spectacular and safe competition. Join us again in 2022.
What is going on up here?
Going for a massive backflip and could not have landed that cleaner. Kayla Davis Beams got herself into a bit of a pickle here.
Bit of a pickle, having a good think about it.
Spinning into the double, 180 out and
Freeing off that right side three and landing it.